Well, hello and welcome to Talk Leadership with Cedrick. Everybody needs a little TLC. Talk Leadership with Cedrick is where we focus on leadership and personal growth with small business leaders, educators, and thought leaders. Our goal is to introduce our audience to leaders who make an impact with innovative ideas. Tonight, I'm going to introduce you to three dynamic leaders. Now, our guiding principle is the law of contribution. It says, growing yourself enables you to grow others. You can't give what you don't have. So first, you must grow yourself in order to grow others. We believe outstanding leaders like yourself will help us to help others. So tonight, we have another set of dynamic leaders that I want to introduce you to. Now, every week, I like to do a proper introduction of my guests. So I'm going to do that exact same thing. So I'm going to start off with Miss Tasha M. Scott. Now, Tasha is from Louisville, Kentucky. I'm sorry, Tasha is from Montgomery, Alabama. Tasha M. Scott's dedication is to helping individuals and organizations maximize their potential. She is recognized as a prolific servant leader with an innate ability to target growth opportunities and build strong teams. Tasha is an executive director with the John Maxwell team and a certified DISC consultant. She is also the founder of Maximize Growth LLC and the 5-year-old Connected Women Win community. With a reputation that precedes her, this 3-time author is often found on stage addressing audiences as a professional speaker, leadership trainer, executive coach, and workshop facilitator. Although Tasha takes great pride in her professional endeavors, she says being married to her husband, Morris Scott, for 22 years and the mother to her teenage daughter are her greatest accomplishments. Tasha also recently celebrated a birthday. So let's say happy birthday to Miss Tasha.
Happy birthday.
Let's welcome her to the show.
Thank you so much.
So next we have from Louisville, Kentucky, Miss Katrina Chambers. Katrina has worked as a professional in corporate America for over 20 years. She has found that adding value to people is her passion. Let me say that again. Adding value to people is her passion. Now that she is a certified coach, trainer, and speaker with the John Maxwell team, she can live her passion every day. Now that's awesome, isn't it? As part of the John Maxwell team, she recently traveled to Costa Rica with John Maxwell to lead a leadership transformation for the Costa Rican government. She is also founder and chief executive at Chambers Leadership Group, where she delivers workshops, seminars, keynote speeches, and coaching services. She says, what my clients all have in common is a desire to help their teams and themselves learn and grow. She works with them to identify and close the gaps that are preventing them from reaching their goals and their full potential. She was born and raised in Cincinnati, Ohio, but she now lives and works in Louisville, Kentucky with her wife, Sheila, and their 2 dogs, Chase and JoJo. She also has 1 grown son who lives in Cincinnati, Ohio. Katrina has a webinar coming up later this week, and I'll give her an opportunity to talk about that a little bit later. So let's welcome Katrina Chambers to TLC. So last but definitely not least, we have Miss Tina E. Grimes of Success Academy, LLC. Tina is also an executive director with the John Maxwell team, where she is also certified as an international speaker, trainer, and coach. For over 25 years, she has coached and trained thousands of individuals and corporations. Tina is an innovative, multi-talented leader with a proven track record of assuring client success. Through her executive coaching, she has shown, through her executive coaching, she has proven her ability to coach and mentor clients to become better leaders and to become high performing teams. You get that? High performing team. These ladies are bringing it, right? So Tina is an accomplished writer and published author. Tina is known as the fundraiser extraordinaire. She has led a capital campaign securing over $32 million to build Cardinal Ritter College Prep High School in St. Louis, Missouri. Now that's bringing some strong stuff right there, folks. She was inducted into the inaugural Cardinal Ritter College Prep Hall of Fame in 2019 for her international leadership success. She is an adjunct professor at Harris Stowe State University and serves on the board of directors for Lafayette Preparatory Academy and SIS Inc. She has coached and trained in Paraguay most recently and earned the highest honor of being selected as a main stage presenter at the International Maxwell Certification Conference. She is a finalist for the John Maxwell Team DNA Award for exceeding expectations. Tina has been married for 20 years to Pastor Mark Grimes and co-pastors Faith Works Fellowship Ministries. They have two incredible blessings, Maya and Mason. Tina graduated from Cardinal Ritter College Prep High School. She has a Bachelor of Business Administration and Finance from Jackson State University and has a Master of Arts in Human Services Agency Management from Lindenwood University. Tina is also has strong ties to Louisiana and specifically to Lake Charles, Louisiana. And more specifically, one of my best friends growing up is her cousin. So let's welcome Miss Tina E. Grimes to the show.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Ladies, I can tell you I am so excited to have you guys as my first panel discussion tonight. So thank you for taking your time out of your Memorial Day holiday weekend and jumping in this live event with us at Talk Leadership with Cedrick. So tonight is all about you and what you're doing to lead America to build, to build better leaders, right? So what I want to do is I want to start off with a question, and this is a roundtable question for everyone. And whoever wants to go first, you're more than willing to. You know, leaders come in all different packages with different strengths. What strengths do you feel are important to be successful as a leader?
Well, Cedrick, I'll jump in. I feel like leaders have to have a love. Well, I'm going to give you two words, love and compassion for the people that they're called to serve. Because if you don't love people, you can't really lead them anywhere.
Love and compassion. All right. Love that.
Yeah. And I'll jump right in total agreement with Tasha on love and compassion. I'll add that it's extremely important for leaders to be visionaries and for leaders to be connectors, to be able to extend beyond yourselves and beyond ourselves, to be true, authentic connectors, to hear what people need and just to be there, to be a connector in people's lives.
Yes.
And I can add to that too as well, because the best leaders that I found in my career are those who care about people, the servant leaders. You know, a lot of times we feel that leaders are someone who are sitting on a pedestal or up somewhere, but to be a servant is key if you want to be a great leader.
That's good.
Yeah, that is very good. Servant leadership is something that is important to the leadership of a team and the development of a team and the growth of a team, but it's hard to find. Why? I want to follow up on that that last point on servant leadership, because even though Tasha, you said love and compassion, and Tina, you said visionary and connectors, really all of those, servant leadership sums all of those words up, right? Because you're not going to be a servant leader if you don't love your people, right? You're not going to be a servant leader if you don't have passion for your people, right? You're not going to be a servant leader, you know, leaders have vision. They see more and they see before everybody else. So with servant leadership, why do you think that it's difficult to find strong servant leaders?
It takes courage. Yes, it takes. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. It takes courage to be a servant leader. You have to not be afraid when you go out in front of people, and you find leadership in many arenas. I'm specifically speaking on leadership in the corporate realm, where there's a lot of fear, a lot of competition, you could find that thing. So I think it takes courage.
Yeah, it absolutely takes courage. And I believe that we as a people have become so self-centered. And once we understand truly what our purpose is and what God has called us to do individually, then we understand that it's just not for us, it's for the world. So we become selfless as leaders. So I have learned that it's the exact opposite. The more I give out, the law of sowing and reaping still works. So the more that I give out and I give to other people and I put people before me, I'm taken care of. So I think that's a hard thing for people to grasp a lot of times, because they are used to being and operating in a society and in a culture where it's all about me, 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 me. And I have totally understood that with servant leadership, it's not about me at all.
Right. And I think it takes a degree of vulnerability, because any average leader can have followers, but it takes a special leader, a servant leader, to not just be in front, but also stand behind people and push them. And that takes that degree of vulnerability also, because we can't take people where we've never been.
That's right. That's right.
You're absolutely right about that. That's awesome. And with that, not being able to take people where we've not been able to go. You know, great leaders good leaders ask great questions, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, what's been some of the best questions that you have either asked or someone asked of you that made a big difference to you on your path?
So I'll jump in here. So the question for me, and this may sound really simple, but the question that I think has made the biggest difference, there's two ways that I'll put it. One question is, why not? And then the other question that goes with that for me has been, why not me?
Yeah.
Mine was, I had a coach ask me this, and this was years ago, but it still resonates with me. And I actually find myself asking this, and it's, what do you want? Because when you ask that question, it's not, well, when it was asked of me, it wasn't somebody telling me what to do. It required me to think, and it pulled that out of me.
That's good. I'm going to say, the universe is always vibrating, and it wants you to ask the right question so that it can bring you the right answer. And so when I asked the question when I was working in corporate America, I wasn't fulfilled in my job in corporate America. And I asked the question, what does fulfillment look like for you, Katrina? When I asked that question, that opened up the door to finding that fulfillment for me. And that led me on my journey to doing what I'm doing today. So asking the right question is key if you want to get what you want.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Totally agree with that. Well, I know that you ladies are asking great questions out there of teams and helping your organizations that you train ask great questions. Now, let me say this for our audience. So Tina, Katrina, and Tasha are leaders of their own business, but they're also a part of a greater leadership organization that's helping organizations, individuals grow. And so they are mentored by one of the best, John Maxwell himself, on a regular basis. So with that, tell our audience a little bit about your experience. One, why you joined the John Maxwell team, and two, what do you think the greatest benefit you're getting out of being on the John Maxwell team? And just start with, on the top of my screen is Katrina. So let's start with Katrina, and we'll go in that.
Yeah. I didn't find the John Maxwell team. The John Maxwell team found me. That's because I was ready to receive, and I removed blockages in my way. When I was in my corporate job, I had a coworker who told me I would be a tremendous coach, trainer, and speaker, and asked me if I would be interested in joining the John Maxwell team. And that's when I was trying to find fulfillment in my career, and the door opened up. And what I found is that you are surrounded with growth-oriented individuals and the best mentors in the world. I got to tell you, it was a blessing, and it has opened the door. So if you want to try to get somewhere in your life, you have to find those individuals who are a step, 10 steps, 20 steps ahead of you, so that can bring you along the way.
Absolutely. Tasha?
When I first started speaking, coaching, and training, this was before I joined the John Maxwell team, and I was presented with two opportunities. It was John Maxwell and another organization. I actually ended up going with this other organization, spending lots of money to be coached and trained. Well, fast forward, I got another opportunity because in that, and I won't say who it was, but in that particular organization, I learned the skill, but there was something that was missing for me. Well, John Maxwell came to our church, and I heard his heart, and I heard just what he was doing. And that was an opportunity for me to say, you know what, his values align with my values. The way he believes aligns with the way I believe. And so when I did join the John Maxwell team, after I started speaking, coaching, and training, it felt like I was coming home. It felt like I had a covering and a community. And for me, one of the best advantages is all the connections that I get with people like you and people all over the world. That's priceless.
That is awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can just take the baton, as Tasha just said it, and pass it on. Because this is my 27th, actually I'm entering 28th year in business. So I've been speaking, coaching, and training for a long time. And when I heard about a community of people with like-minded values, it was just something that I would say found me. And not only that, but I was very familiar with John Maxwell's work and teaching, and being in a pastoral role as a co-pastor, knowing my entire life that I'm a marketplace minister. There's so much that just totally resonated with me. And I said, wow, here's somebody who understands me and understands that my vision so closely aligns to, and not just John Maxwell's vision, but the vision of so many colleagues that I have now connected myself with, where I can speak about things and people are not looking at me sideways and actually understand my heart and what it is that I'm saying and what it is that I'm going after. Because ultimately, for me, the purpose is kingdom first. Yeah. And so having the opportunity to bridge my work, because that is my work, they're one and the same, whether it's marketplace or whether it's in pulpit, that has just been the phenomenal, I'd say, value add for me.
Well, that is awesome. Well, you know, ladies, I see. So my very first guest on the show was Dr. Gregory Salters. And I don't know if you guys know Dr. Salters or not, but he is a John Maxwell team member. He's a brother that's always short, wearing a bow tie. So when if you haven't seen him at IMC, the next time you go, just look for the short brother with a suit and bow tie on. And that's Dr. Greg. He's here. He said, yes, indeed, powerful lady. So he's out there listening to us tonight. So growth has to be intentional. In order to grow, you know, it has to be intentional. So what do you do for personal and professional growth and development? You're out there helping organizations grow and get better. But what do you have in your toolbox that's helping you grow and get better?
Well, for me,
okay. Sorry. No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
in addition to this, to the John Maxwell community, I have a favorite phrase. I say it takes a village. And so for me, what that looks like is I have a counselor. I have several accountability partners. One of them is in John Maxwell team, Nicole Simmons. I have my accountability partners are different things. Nicole scratches that itch for business bestie. I have someone else who we talk about our marriages and our children. I have others that help me in different areas, but I also have mentees. They hold me accountable because they're watching me. They're watching what I do. They watch when I get it wrong, when I get it right. So all of them make up my village of support so that I'm not out here just pouring and pouring and pouring. I need a place where I can go and it's my safe place just to be me.
Okay. All right. So before Tina or Katrina goes, so you said something. This is why I want to jump in here. So talking about holding yourself accountable. So before we started the show, we were behind the scenes, right? Talking about the order of the show. So this is just holding myself accountable. I said, hey, we're going to start with this banner, this intro, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm so excited to talk to you. I forgot to play.
It's okay.
It's all good.
I'm gonna play my intro so that I don't feel tonight I'll be going, why didn't I play my intro? Why didn't I play? So I'm gonna do
That's
it
funny.
in 10 seconds. Okay, so now thanks for saying that, Tasha. That helped keep me accountable here.
Yes.
So who wants to go next with that question? What do you use? What do you do for personal development and growth?
Yeah, so for me, the first thing, Cedrick, is I try to make sure that I'm remaining coachable and teachable myself. As a coach and teacher, I had a mentor to tell me every coach needs a coach, and that is absolutely right. So I have different people in my toolbox, that I call it, for different areas of my life. So my spiritual coach mentor, financial coach mentor, business coach mentor, even speaking coach mentor.
Mm-hmm.
So I remain coachable and teachable. And then I try to make sure that I'm incorporating what my coach is saying to me and those same principles. Like I've learned how to come to my coach, how to be prepared when I'm sitting with my mentor, how to value my mentor's time. And then I am turning around and modeling that for the people that I'm mentoring. But even in the modeling, I'm learning at the same time. So when I'm sharpening my sword to be able to teach them, I'm learning at the same time because I'm keeping myself coachable and teachable, and making sure that I stay around people that are also holding me accountable.
Yes. Awesome. Miss Katrina?
So for me, it starts with my mornings. Me and God, we spend time together. I make sure I start my day being bulletproof. And that's working on myself, talking to God, listening to the word, reading the Bible, strengthening who I am so I can get ready for this day. And then once I do that, I have my regimented schedule of what I'm going to be working on. Just like what the two ladies said, I also have coaches in many different areas of my life, from personal to my professional. Just have those coaches so that they can be my accountability partner. And so that is totally key. And then, like I mentioned before, I make sure I surround myself with those growth-oriented mindset people that we hold each other up. And when you succeed, I succeed, we all succeed. And so that's the approach.
Okay, awesome. So, I know that we read a lot. I know I read a lot of books, and I'm sure you guys are reading a lot of books as well. So give us, one book each that you believe every person should read. No, I'm not talking about your own personal book. You can tell your own personal book. But
You know us, don't you?
You can tell your personal book separate after this, but first tell me what other book you think people should be reading. Let's start with Tina.
So it's really fun. You are hilarious. You know your peers. I'm like, I got it
That's
right here.
wonderful.
So now my answer, like I am totally not trying to be cliche-ish in my answer or anything, but for real, like I have gone back to the Word of God like never before. I mean, seriously. Uh, Everything I am finding that, and even in looking at the Maxwell Leadership Bible is something I've been using it along with my other study materials. And I'm just like, everything I need really is right here. So in all honesty and sincerity, like I have gone back and I'm looking at everything with fresh eyes again, and just being just open to everything that I'm reading and just seeing some things that I've read my entire life in a totally new light. So that's my recommendation.
Okay, awesome. Tasha?
Well, mine, in addition to that, is this book right here called The Go-Giver. I absolutely love this book because to me, it's written by Bob Berg and John David Mann. I have listened to this numerous times, read it numerous times. Really, this book sums up the law of sowing and reaping. And I highly recommend every business owner, every leader to read this because it's talking about leading from a place of value, pouring into people, going back to what we said at the beginning about what leadership is. This book is phenomenal and it's changed the way that I do business.
Okay, all right, awesome. Katrina?
Yeah, so for me, I'm going to go back to one of the classics. It's a book written by James Allen called As a Man Thinketh. And for me, it's all about mindset because mindset for me is everything. And so it's a thin little book that you can just read in one sitting. It just depends on how fast you read. But I found that that book has allowed me and showed me and put words into what manifestation looks like. What happens when one manifests and who you have to become in order to get those things in life that you're looking for. So for me, I always go back to As a Man Thinketh, along with the Bible too, because that John Maxwell Bible is amazing. That leadership Bible that he wrote, oh my goodness. So As a Man Thinketh.
Yeah, I will tell you. Let me tell you my experience with the Maxwell Leadership Bible. So the very first time I went to IMC, the day that John has the services, I went up. And I was always a God-fearing man, and I'm an ordained minister. But I went up to get that Bible, and I thought, I said, okay, it's just another Bible for me to use to have in my toolbox. Well, I went up to my room, and I said, well, let me just look in this Bible. And I opened it up, and let me tell you what, I was like a kid that opened up a toy on Christmas. Because it's like, oh my Lord, he has all of this stuff in here, with all of his books intertwined in the leadership Bible. I literally put that down, ran downstairs, went to the store, and purchased 4 of those Bibles right then. And every time I go to IMC, I go to get some of those Bibles because I like to give them out because they are really, really powerful. So I agree. I love As a Man Thinketh as well. Now let's talk about. I know Tina and I know Tasha. You guys are authors, so tell us, Katrina. I'm not sure if you wrote a book or not, but if you did, I'm going to give you an opportunity now to plug your book and tell us where we can find it. Let's start with Tasha.
Okay, so I've got 3 books. They're on Amazon. One of them is on Audible. So the titles are Don't Limit Me, Maximize Your Existence, and The Fight for Your Next Level. Again, these are all on Amazon. Audible is the Maximize Your Existence. And my latest one, Fight for Your Next Level, it's written as a devotional, but this was a story that I wrote before I wrote anything years ago. I never knew that this was going to get published, but it really is about fighting and overcoming guilt, shame, and insecurity as a person in leadership.
Awesome.
It's wonderful. Yes, and my book is entitled Grandmother CEO, and the CEO stands for Caring, Elegant, and Outstanding. My book is a tribute to my own grandmother. Elmer Basil Thomas. What happened is over the 20 plus years that I have been speaking, coaching, and training, every audience that I'm in front of, my corporate clients and everyone knows Elmer Basil Thomas, because somewhere within my speech, my training, I am saying something that this wise woman said. So I gleaned 12 of the many lifelong principles of leadership that I learned from this phenomenal woman, and it is transforming organizations. So I don't think she realized that the life she was modeling before me as an 8th grade graduate who's been featured in Southern Living magazine, in the 25th anniversary edition of Southern Living, and lots of other publications wrote about my grandmother throughout my lifetime. So I said, I have to do this. And she's been deceased now for about 3 years, but we had an opportunity to travel the country, selling out books everywhere that we went, with our first client buying 100 books. So yes, right there in Louisiana, as Cedrick mentioned, I love Louisiana. That's home for my parents, and the next home for me. So that has been my tribute to her. And in the book, I also mentioned my aunt, Martha Marcel, who also is a phenomenal woman that Cedrick mentioned at the beginning of the show. Just the way God orchestrates, Cedrick lived on the same street, I think.
We live a street over.
From my aunt in Lake Charles, Louisiana. So there are no happenstances, but grandmother CEO. And right now, I just checked yesterday, they're revamping. So TinaWillSpeak.com is where you can reach out to get grandmother CEO.
Awesome. Katrina, I don't know, do you have a book?
I do not have a book, Cedrick, but I do have one in me. So I've been writing this book. Yes, I've been writing this book for the past year and a half now. And so I haven't released it yet. So be on the lookout. If you go to the Chambers Leadership Group, if you want to stay in contact with me and see when my book does come out.
But I do know what you do have, Katrina. You have a webinar coming up later this week, right? Like
That's
5
right.
from now, to be exact. So tell us about it.
Absolutely. The name of the webinar is How to Get People to Do What You Want Them to Do Without Much Effort. And it's a fantastic webinar. It's going to be on this Saturday, May 30th. At 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and you all will be blown away, because don't be surprised by the name, y'all. This is an amazing webinar. We did the first one 2 Saturdays ago, and it was incredible. And I was planning on doing the second one, but I just had to. So if you want to go to CLG Training, that's like Chambers Leadership Group, CLGtraining.com, sign up. It's totally free. And y'all are going to be blown away. So, yes.
Awesome. So, I know that you ladies are on fire. I follow you guys on Facebook. I see what you're doing. I see your posts, and it's phenomenal. It's awesome. But I do know that we all have a time that we have to take some time off and just like chill out, relax, put the leadership stuff up and say, you know what, that's for another day. So tell us, Tina, what do you do when you take a time out and you just say, I'm chilling? We want to know what's behind the scenes with Tina Grimes.
Oh my goodness. I took a deep breath just when you described that. I'm like, ooh, exhale, right? Cedrick, my favorite thing to do, and my kids will tell you, is to be in my pajamas. Like I walk in the door, like where are my PJs? So that I can just unplug and sit and watch something. I was just sharing with my sister, I'll turn on something on Netflix, which is like I did yesterday, thinking it's one movie, and then it'll end up being 5, like a set of 5 shows or something. So and I love movies based in Africa. So that's like I will sit here in my pajamas and just watch and eat Skinny Pop popcorn. Anybody who knows me, now that's an endorsement. Skinny Pop do something. Sitting back in my PJs with some Skinny Pop popcorn, just unplugged. That's wonderful.
All right. Well, I eat popcorn every night. But I always get the Avro Redenbacher popcorn that I have to pop myself. I don't like the microwave popcorn. But every night, that's what I eat. So awesome. So Tasha, what do you do when you just like let the hair down and say, I'm chilling?
Okay, so I know we're on Facebook Live, so everybody's going to hear my secret, okay? But prior to COVID-19, one of my favorite things to do was when everybody was working and I could steal away some time, I would go to the movies by myself and I would have the popcorn with all the butter on it or nachos. And I would just feel like a little kid in a candy store to be sitting in a movie theater by myself and just checking out the latest movies. That was so relaxing. But now we're, since we've been all sheltering in place, then it's Netflix or Hulu, and I can binge watch. Yesterday, I had the best time just binge watching A Different World. So,
different world, yes,
yes, different world.
All right. So, Miss Katrina, what do you do when you just like chill out in Louisville?
Yeah, so for me, y'all, I love to barbecue. Love to have family over the house and barbecue, putting some pork ribs, some steak, some chicken on the grill. I got 5 grills, y'all. But let me just say this. They have a purpose. Each one has a purpose.
Okay.
So I am obsessed with throwing some food on the grill, serving family, putting some fish and some corn on the grill. Oh my goodness. That's my passion. And that's what I love to do. Love people and feed them some good food, y'all.
Oh, wait a minute. 5 grills? I mean, 5 grills.
One is a smoker. One is a smoker. Okay. But yes, they all have their purpose. I got to put the pork on one grill, the chicken on another grill. It's just, woo! It's fun. It's fun having people over the house and enjoying our time. So yes.
Well, I'm going to have to call George Foreman and tell him he needs to get in contact with you. Wow, that is amazing. That's amazing. So what advice would you give an emerging leader of finding out?
I think you were breaking up a little bit, Cedrick.
Okay, sorry about that. Can you hear me better?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So what advice would you give an emerging leader for finding leadership opportunities and ways?
I think I might have lost you, Cedrick.
Uh-oh. Tasha and Tina, can you hear me?
Yes.
yes.
Oh, it looks like, all right. So it looks like it's on her end. So let me ask that question again here.
Mm-hmm.
What advice would you give an emerging leader for finding leadership opportunities and ways to improve their professional toolbox?
Go ahead, Tina.
Yeah, so the advice that I would give emerging leaders, you said in finding leadership opportunities,
yes,
is one to have to posture. She's back. Yeah, is one to posture themselves to be opportunity seekers.
Mm-hmm.
That's one that I would say, like really be in a posture of being an opportunity seeker. Because oftentimes the opportunities are right around us.
Yeah.
And they're right at our fingertips. But if we're not thinking about, or if we're not very clear on our purpose and our vision and know what the opportunities are that we're looking for, that's the first thing. And then from there, posturing to be opportunity seekers. And then thirdly, I would say stay close to the fire. Like I have found that the opportunities are close when you're close to the fire. And what I mean by that is I had a mentor when I first started out, 27 plus years ago, who said, set yourself on fire and the whole world will come and watch you burn.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, wow, I have always loved that. And so what I've noticed and always done is I found the people who are on fire, because when I'm close to the people who are on fire, I mean, like the way that they ignite, that they're ignited, the opportunities are right there. And so when we're connecting, which is what I started off with, when we're right there where the fire is and we're in the right posture to receive and we're connecting and we're allowing people to connect us, that's the advice that I would give for leaders looking for opportunities.
Okay. All right. Tasha?
That's really good. From the book that I mentioned, The Go-Giver, one of the things that they say is not just asking, does it make money, but also asking, does it serve? And finding opportunities to volunteer, whether it's a chamber of commerce, whether it's a leadership program, or whether it's an organization like a nonprofit or even for-profit stuff, but looking for ways to serve, to volunteer, because sometimes it's about serving first and getting your foot in the door, and that will lead to other things.
Awesome. I love that. Goes back to what Katrina said at the beginning about that servant leadership, right? Yes. Awesome. So I'll ask this question to Katrina now that she's back. So, we've all failed at one time or another. We've all had, problems, issues, or whatever you want to call it. Tell us about one of your failures and a lesson you learned from it that helps you today.
Yeah, I think one of my biggest failures is thinking that success looked a certain way. When I was working in my corporate job, and I was thinking that all the physicality of having the house and the car and all those things would bring me fulfillment. And I was very much wrong. I was very much mistaken. And so what I found is that when I became aligned with my true self, with who I am, that job no longer had a hold on me. And so the failure to me looked like I didn't know my value. I didn't understand my true worth and my true value. And when I began to understand that and start finding fulfillment, my life began to blossom. It looked totally different than it did just this time last year. So it's not the failures, and I hope there's some young people watching that can hear this message. It's not the failures, but it's what you learn from that failure, and realize that all failures are a teaching lesson for us to go to the next step. That's how I look at it. We can take the failure and just absorb ourselves in it and feel bad about it, or we can use it for what it was really meant to be used for, and that was a teaching moment. And so that's what I have to say about that.
Okay, I like that. Tina or Tasha, you want to comment on that?
Yeah, so when I think about one of my failures, or what I would consider a big failure at the time, is there's a time when I moved too soon on something. I saw the opportunity where I wasn't real happy. And when I saw this opportunity, like, I moved very quickly. And when I reevaluated that, there was a little bit more that I had to glean in the place where I was before I made the move. And it has really helped me from that time to this. And that's been some years ago, but it's really helped me to really understand timing and seasons in my own life, and to learn to block out the noise, and noise being everybody else's opinions of how other people think I should move or do, or decisions to make, and really block all of that out and be right in tune with the seasons and timing of my own life.
Okay. All right.
So Cedrick, I would say for me, I've been in full-time entrepreneurship for 17 years now. But one of the worst lessons, or one of the worst failures, I should say, is the first year that I started. Back then I had a court reporting business, and I had goals. I said the first year I'm going to hit my 6 figures. I'm gonna blow up. And the thing is, I did hit 6 figures the very first year. But the lesson was I didn't have a plan for the success. All I had was money on my mind,
Right.
but I didn't realize that it was going to take the internal character to sustain the growth. And that was a hard lesson,
right.
but I went from the 6 figures to bankruptcy. I had to work my way out of that again. And thank God for second, third, fourth chances, but I learned that being an entrepreneur is not just about the external. It's more important to have the internal right.
Yes, absolutely. And That's a lesson that I think a lot of people have to take advantage of when they hear a person like yourself come on here and say that, right? That you can be here, but if you're not thinking the right way,
Mm-hmm.
you end up doing this,
Yep.
That's right.
right?
That's
That's
right.
if you're here and then all of a sudden you say, "I've arrived," then all of
Mhm.
a sudden you forget, and that hunger goes away, that grind goes away. You stop building on what got you there, right?
That's right.
So it's awesome that you said that. So if there's one or two things that you could tell young people, now I'm not talking about adults, that we deal a lot with them, but I'm talking about young people. I'm talking about the iGen generation. They're the people that are, especially, let's target the 2020 high school graduates. All right. If there is one or two pieces of advice you could give them today, and I want all three of you guys to answer this question, what would that be?
I'll start with that, Cedric. I would tell them to go out and look for some problems to solve, because it's in the solving of a problem. It's in the solving of problems, your ability to solve problems. It could be if you're working on a job right now, and let's say you go to your manager and ask them, hey, is there anything you all need me to do at this time? And it may be stepping outside of your current role or doing something else, but your ability to solve problems in a creative way is really, really key for your success.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and my advice daily to young people, Cedric, is get crystal clear on your purpose. Get crystal clear on your vision and purpose. And I call it why I breathe, like why God gives me my next breath. Like that's how clear I am when I wake up in the morning and my feet hit the floor. I know why I breathe, why God has given me my next breath. And it has made the world a world of difference. There's no price tag on it. So when you get very clear, and I share with young people, when you're very crystal clear on vision, you don't have to chase money, just chase your purpose. And I'm saying your purpose, because that comparison thing, when you're crystal clear as a young person, since we're talking about young people, when you're crystal clear on your vision, your God-given purpose and destiny, then you don't have to get on social media and trip off of what everybody else is doing.
That's right.
Right? Because we all know that's social media and that's a platform to make it look good anyway, right? So if I'm clear on my vision and my purpose as a young person, then you don't have time to worry about what somebody else is doing or how you're going to keep pace with them, because you understand purpose and you're able to filter out and say no to things that don't align with purpose, and you're able to say yes and move full speed ahead with things that do.
Yes, absolutely.
That's good. So many things I could say on this, but if it's just one, I would tell them, find somebody that will help you go digging for the treasure that's already there on the inside of you.
Oh, wait, back up. Say that again. That was deep. All right, say that again.
I like that.
Find somebody that will help you go digging for the treasure that is already in you.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah.
I'm writing that down. That's good. That is awesome. All right. Wow, that was awesome. But I love talking to our young people, and not necessarily telling them to go do this and go do that. Last week we had on a phenomenal 2020 graduate as our guest. His name is Austin Delafosse, and he lives in Lake Charles. And he was graduating from Barb High School. He's getting ready to go off to Howard University, and this young man is sharp. He's going to do some wonderful things. So I'll give you an example. A couple of Saturdays ago, I had a winning with money webinar, and I do it once a month. Austin, it starts at 9 and it normally goes to 11. That Saturday it stayed till 12. Austin was on from the very beginning all the way to the end, and was very engaged, asking a lot of questions to understand. Followed up with me during the week to start some of the things that we talked about. with winning with money. And that's why I love pouring into our young people, helping them. But I also like to get advice from them and hear what their thoughts are.
Right.
And one of the things that Austin said last week was, if you just do he says, if you just try to get 1% better every day, by the end of the year, you'll be 360% better for that whole year.
Wow.
1%. Yeah. That's coming from well, he's actually 17-year-old, right? And if every adult would take that charge from that iGenner, they would change the rest of their life, right? So I love what you guys are doing to help change the lives of other people. So what's next for you? Let's start with Katrina again. What's next for you in life and in your career?
Yes, so my goal is to continue building my business, the Chamber's Leadership Group. I want to continue to solve problems in a creative way. I want to add value to other people. And I want to move my clientele from individuals and start working more with small to medium-sized companies and doing some training with them. That's one of my biggest goals right now. And just continue adding value to those growth-oriented mindset people who want to be in a different place than they are next year. I want to make sure that I can help them get to where they are to where they want to be.
Okay, that's awesome. Before I take this comment off the screen, and then I'll go to Tina next. My daughter replied. She said, "We just talked about this last night with lottery winners." So going back to your comment, Tasha, every Sunday night at 7:00 we do a book study, and it's just my wife, my daughter, and my son. We're on a webinar, and right now we're studying how successful leaders think. We just finished a few weeks ago. We did for 13 weeks. We did 13 things mentally strong people. 13 things mentally strong people don't do, by Amy Morin. I mean, it's an awesome, phenomenal book. But we just had that conversation last night because John talks about in the teaching this how successful people think, that mindset thing, and talking about you can win the lottery, and people that win $150,000 are twice as likely to file bankruptcy than other people.
That's right.
Yeah. So.
That's it. And I equivalent what happened to me as the lottery syndrome. That's exactly what it was.
Yes. Awesome. So, Tina, what's next for you in your life or in your career?
Oh, wow. It's just really goes back for me with understanding timing and seasons. And throughout my entire life, I'm experiencing something now, and I'm moving into something that God showed me for my life many, many years ago. And people have been reminding me over the years. And just with staying focused and aligned with purpose, now more international doors are opening because I understand that now the 27 plus years of pouring into youth and the 27 plus years of corporate training and developing organizations, now the doors are opening. So over the past 4 weeks, I have been planning, like heavily planning, and the date got moved back, but a trip to Africa that I'll be able to give more details about. It's so exciting, I can hardly contain it, but then like I can hardly, I'm like, it's hard for high eye personalities not to talk anyway. really super hard, because this is blowing me away. And I'm just like, Lord, are you serious? And he's like, I'm absolutely serious, because I've shown you this since you can remember. So within the same week, I got an opportunity. I was asked to come to 2 places, I'll just say, in Africa to speak. For me, the transformation trip to Paraguay, this time last year, like I was just getting back home, I think on this day last year, but like it just blew me away. And I just said, this is what I'm called to do, because our gifts will definitely make room for us. So anybody listening, that's what I want to say. Like, that's why I talk about purpose and passion and so much, because just do what it is we're assigned to do, and our gifts will make room for us. So, I couldn't even have begun to tell you how to go about strategizing to do that. But I will say that the doors are opening, and I am gratefully walking in them. So.
Well, that is awesome and outstanding. I'm excited for your next opportunities and looking forward to seeing them. So, Ms. Tasha, what's next for you?
So I have been given a great opportunity to really grow my business. I'm no longer doing the court reporting business, so I'm all in with the speaking, coaching, and training, building up the Tasha Scott group, really building my own team, developing them. I have two sides of the business. One side is Connected Women Win, where I literally get to pour into professional women in business, ministry, and leadership, helping them to discover their purpose, to have a safe place to be the leader, but still work on yourself at the same time, and make it about connecting. The second part is I'm excited about going into organizations. Doors have opened for me to go into the educational realm and do training courses for educators, superintendents, principals, teachers. I'm so excited about that. And just really learning all the lessons and really honing in so that I could really be everything I'm supposed to be without neglecting myself in the process.
Well, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Say, my niece is on listening. Her name is Alexis. She lives in Atlanta. And she has a question. She says, what kind of books do you recommend for family reading with a 7-year-old? And, if you guys know any books like that, you can make the recommendation.
Yeah.
There is a book by John Maxwell. I'm sorry. Sometimes you
I
win,
think we're
sometimes
probably
you
about to say
learn.
that.
Okay.
That's the one I was going to recommend. I have it sitting right here, and I have my son reading it every day.
Nice.
So tell the title. It's Katrina or Tina. Hey, Tina, hold that book out.
Yes. Sometimes you win, sometimes you learn, by John Maxwell. It's a kid version.
Yes.
That's what I would have said too.
Yes.
Sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. So there's two versions. There's the 14 version, which that's what Tina has on the screen now.
Yes.
And then there's the 4 kids version.
4 kids version.
Yeah, the 4 kids version is a good starter, and then move to the teens version, and it's going to help go a little bit deeper. Yes, absolutely.
Cedrick, I'll also add, Dave Ramsey has the Financial Peace Junior.
Yes.
It's for kids as young as 2 and 3 years old, and it's really good for helping them to learn things that I never learned when I was young, but it's really good.
Yes, absolutely. I'm a Dave Ramsey Master Financial Coach, so I hear you. So we have 3 minutes left in the show, and I want to respect your time because you took the time out away from your family to come here with us. So where can people find out more about you? So let's start off with Tasha.
So my website is tashamscott.com. I'm on social media at Coach Tasha Scott. And if you are a professional woman in business, ministry, or leadership, I have a Facebook community called Connected Women Win.
Awesome. Tina?
I can be reached at tinawillspeak.com. Email the same, tinawillspeak@gmail, and on other social media platforms, Tina will speak. So whatever the social media platform, just plug in Tina will speak, and that's what I can. my kids have taught me to keep it simple, and yes, and I, like I said, as a high I, I'm always speaking. So Tina will speak is where I can be found.
Okay, all right.
And you can find me at the Chambers Leadership Group. I have a YouTube page, have a Facebook page. And again, I want to mention my upcoming webinar this Saturday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, how to get people to do what you want them to do without much effort. And just go into clgtraining.com to sign up.
Well, that is awesome. Thank you, ladies, very much for making this show exciting tonight. Hopefully you had a good time like I did.
Yes,
absolutely.
I did. Wonderful.
Well,
Wonderful.
awesome. Well, I also want to take the time to thank our audience for joining in with Talk Leadership with Cedrick. You know, everybody needs a little TLC. And I hope that next week you will also join us. Tonight, our guest again is Miss Tasha M. Scott, Miss Katrina Chambers, Miss Tina Grimes, and hopefully you picked up some things that they said tonight. You know, Tasha started off by saying love and compassion is what makes a good leader. Tina said a visionary, they need to be a visionary and a connector. Katrina said they need to be a servant leader. And we went on and talked about, you know, growth and what do they do for growth? They all have accountability partners, mentors, mentees that help keep them accountable. Katrina also said God and her faith also is a big part of this. Not all the women have God and faith as a part of their major component, but great questions. Tina said, why not? And why not me? And Tasha said, what do you want? You got to think about that. What is it that you want? So they gave us a lot of things tonight to take away from here. Again, thank you for joining us. We will have a new service launching soon, and it's called Talk Leadership with Cedrick Marketing Program. And this is where you'll have an opportunity to purchase 60-minute time slot to market your business. We are about helping you spread the word for your business. And we will be launching that program here real soon. So join us next Monday night for Talk Leadership Live with Cedrick. We thank you again, and hopefully you will have a great evening.